What's up, beautiful people? Welcome to tonight's live. Actually, I was getting ready to hit record on this video and just, to talk through it and then edit and do all the things. And I was like, girl, no, we are going live on YouTube so that we can talk this thing out, okay? So, welcome to tonight's live. And we're going to be talking about the one system that you need that you don't even know you need, but you need it, okay? So, before we dive in, of course, we got to go through the framework because I want to make sure that you know exactly what it is that I need you to know before we get into that one system, okay? And so today we're talking about the 4R ascension model. We realign, we reset, we rebuild, and then we rise. This is one of my frameworks where we're talking about going from one place to the next. And today we're going to really focus on this realign section of the framework. So when we're talking about realignment, we are talking about making sure that whatever we're building, the purpose driven thing that God has called you to build, when we're talking about realign, we want to make sure that what we are building is in alignment, number one, with what God has called you to build. The other piece of that is that what you are building is in alignment with what capacity you have and the life that you have been called to live. And so, if you haven't first decided what it is that you want in your life, if you haven't first decided um, the capacity that you even have before trying to create systems, then you're doing it backwards. Not only that, a lot of us are out here trying to build systems that aren't in alignment with our own purpose, but they're in alignment with somebody else's. Like you go on YouTube, because that's where we are. You go on YouTube and you see so and so do something. And so, because they are doing it, or that's their routine, or that's their posting schedule, you decide that you got to post like that too. Or that got to be your schedule too. Well, if that's your schedule too, because you saw her do it, but it don't work for the life that God gave you, then it's a problem. So you have to make sure at that realignment phase that everything that you are doing, again, is in alignment with who you are called to be. Now, once we get to the point where we can see who we are and where we are and what we need, we've realigned to God's will and not just our own, then we can reset. And I ain't gonna sing to y'all, but this is the point where I was sing Frozen. Let it go. When we are resetting, this is when we are deciding that anything that no longer serves us or no anything that no longer fits the life that God has called us to live, that is when we got to let it go. All right? So we've got to audit what we have in place. Audit your routines. Audit your schedule. Audit the tools that you're using. And if it no longer fits for the season of life then you got to let it go. All right. Once we have reset, then it's time to rebuild. So we've made sure we're in alignment. We've let go of the things that we no longer need or are no longer serving us. Then it's time to put it all back together and build what it is, again, that purpose driven thing that God has called you to build. So that's when we're putting systems back into place to support us in the season we are in and as the woman that we've been called to be, living the life that we've been called to live. And then finally, we rise. And when we are rising, the rise stage is where we are now working on making everything that we've built sustainable so that it will work with us and for us in the long run. So this is our framework. We are shifting from doing everything based on good vibes to building the life and the purpose, doing the purpose-driven work, that purpose-driven business, so that it's rooted in clarity, structure, and that you're doing it with intention. Excuse me. As you move up the staircase, each step is going to allow you to elevate your capacity, elevate your systems, and it's going to make you more confident so that you can move like the woman that you know that you were called to be. So when we talk about the missing system, the one you don't even know that you need, it has nothing, I mean, it might have a little bit to do with your business, but it has very little to do with your business. That missing system is your personal growth system, your personal development system. I heard somebody say it and I can't unhear it. And they said that entrepreneurship is just personal development. It is a personal development journey. That's what it is. So if you are not continuously developing yourself personally throughout your entrepreneurial journey, then that is the system that you are missing. And that is going to take going through that realignment phase. So when we hit that realignment phase, we want to make sure that we first determine, again, get specific. What is it that you want for your life? What is it that you need? Because your life is your life. Your kids are your kids. You don't have the same schedule that everybody else's kids have. So, what is it that you need and what is it that you want in your life? What has God called you to? And once you have realigned, whew, once you have hit that realign phase, honey, everything else will fall into place. You know what systems in your business to build because your systems were created to serve you and to work for you, not you working for them. So if you are a slave to your systems, that means that something is out of alignment. That means that you are doing something that we don't need to be doing all that. So you can let that go. You can you can let that go. Yeah, I got this tickle in my throat today. Ooh, and watch, as soon as I stop this live, it's gonna go away. The enemy is trying real hard right now because somebody needs to hear that they need to sit and realign before they start to build their systems. I had somebody tell me if I'm coming to you for systems work, then I don't need the realignment phase. That has nothing to do with systems, but that has everything to do with systems. Because if you are building something and you haven't first done that realignment and that mindset work, whether you did it in somebody else's coaching program or not, we your systems need to work for you. So if you haven't done that part, that's the missing piece. Figure out what it is that you want. I need you to evaluate where life is now and then figure out what your gaps are. So if you are here and you are here and you want to get here, what do you need to do in the meantime, in between time, all that space in the middle, that gap? How can you close that gap and bring those two things together? That's what I want you to figure out. I want you to homework. I want you to determine what it is that you want for your life, the capacity that you have, and how are you going to fill in the gaps in the middle? That's what I want to know. Okay? Okay. And I want you to drop it in the comment section. Let me know, what area of your life do you feel like it needs realignment? Let me know.